All right, so our next guest is a favorite of mine to hear speak when we go to listen at the shows. If you haven't heard him speak, you're in for a definite treat. He is the co-founder and senior vice president of CarNow, one of the fastest growing companies in the automotive space. I'm pretty sure he's going to bring what he always brings, which is a magnetic personality and just a great energy. I love being around his energy. He's a VINCUE friend, a great partner. I love it when he says, "No one is smarter than everyone. Let's get better together." What you might not know about him is that he was the son of a preacher man. So without further ado, the only boy that could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. Tim Cox, everyone.
Thank you. And here's my clicker. I'm ready to go. It is so good to be here, just honored to be around the best and the brightest. And this thing, even last night, for somebody that does what I do, which is tour the country and go to dealership and conference from conference, I had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get here, but I just want to say a personal thank you to Danny. Give it up for Danny. I've grown to love Danny and his team. I love his, and it's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today, because maybe I'm going to go out on a limb here, but VINCUE, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, is not going to dramatically change your dealership. CarNow or any other vendor is not going to dramatically change your dealership or your business. You are going to dramatically change your dealership or your business. So to go along with the theme, I want to talk a little bit about today. Yes, we've had what the world calls success. Yes, we grew to 5,000 plus dealers in a short amount of time. But I want to be sharing with you a few things today that I wish I could have gone back a decade ago and talked to 10-year younger Tim. And hopefully that you can take a few things, put them in your lunchbox, and take it back with you to get better. Because the thing that I've learned is that instead of chasing success, chasing significance in others' lives, when you purposely bring the people around you, especially the people that call you boss, and you care about where they are or where they want to go, that's when success comes. I got to share something funny with you. There are several types of leaders. We were just at Digital Dealer, like a lot of you guys were. And, I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but we've gone through some changes at CarNow, and we really needed a product-driven CEO. And my partner had some personal problems, and he took a step back, which we're not going to get into, but we had to find that guy. And it was my wife's 50th birthday at Digital Dealer, so I said, you know what, it's at Vegas, so why don't we just take advantage of Vegas? And I flew a couple of her friends in, and they just did the Vegas thing. We went to the Sphere, saw U2. Anybody do that in Vegas, by the way? Unbelievable. Like, it was phenomenal. So we did that, but I'm tired, and I'm an old man, and I want to go back to the hotel room. But Kane, our new CEO, who some of you guys have met, is like, you know what? We're in the limo together. He's like, you know what? Let's go to the roller coaster. Like, bro, that is the last thing that I want to do on the roller coaster. So sure enough, and then what does my wife say? Oh, yes, let's go to the roller coaster. So guess where we were on the roller coaster? And, of course, they take pictures on the roller coaster, and that is Kane, our new CEO, my wife's friend Christy, and Mandy. But when I looked at that picture, I looked at the different types of leaders. I looked at the Mandy over here on the far right. Oh my God, the Chicken Little leader. The freaking sky's falling leader, right? And then I look at Christy here, and I see, oh my gosh, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, and it's gonna, we're just along, and then there's Kane I see what's coming, and I'm ready. You know, in one of my favorite scriptures, they said my dad was a pastor for 50 years. So I was going to say I apologize for this. I don't apologize for this. But the proverb that I live my life by is the prudent see danger and turn from it, but the simple keep going and suffer harm. There's storms coming. There's storms now. What are we doing? What are we doing to prepare ourselves as leaders to pour into your people, to create significance? I'm going to ask you this question. I have a leadership podcast, a section of Tim Talks that we're going to be releasing in Q1. But I'm going to ask you a very difficult question. What's it like to be on the other side of you? The great philosopher Michael Jackson once said, you got that? I'm starting with a, oh yeah. You like that, didn't you? Didn't know I could get that high. You hear that? He called me Hercules. Anyway, sorry, I have issues. I love Eddie Murphy and Donkey from Shrek. But listen, don't ask my wife this question, but what is it like to be on the other side of you? I just came from a presentation, my last presentation, where I had gobs of data about dealerships right now saying, I've got a great experience, and I've got a great trade experience on my website. But and in fact, the numbers, some of the J.D. Power numbers are 78% of dealers say I've got a great trade experience, but yet 48% of the public says that they enjoy. There's a difference between perception and reality. So your leadership style, how you go to work every day, ask yourselves the tough questions. I want you to make a commitment with me today for the few minutes that we have together. Listen, is Hugh in this room again? Or is he playing hooky? He's prepping for his deal. You know, I came here last night and I've been struggling with some stuff in my brain as of late. And you, brother, were there last night, and we just had church at the bar. I mean, he poured into me. He poured into me last night, and I needed that. And I think the first law of leadership, or the first law that we all need to grow, is don't just give Sunday school words. We live in a world, especially in this automotive space right now, to where we want people to perceive that we're living our best life. We live in the Facebook mentality, the Instagram, look at me, take care of me, look at all the things I have. But inside, internally, we're struggling. Why? So for just to take a little journey with me today, and really, as we used to say in the car business 30 years ago, take a checkup from the neck up. Look, nobody's around. We're not posting to any social media right now, but I want you to search here. What are you doing internally to be a better daddy, to be a better husband, to be a better significant other, to be a better boss, to be a better leader? No Sunday school words. I say Sunday school words because everybody looks pretty on Sunday. Everybody says the preacher. Nobody cusses on Sunday, right? Maybe. Listen, I get up and sometimes I quote things, and let me just tell you, me, and I'm losing my voice, I'm sorry. Me, I'm just trying to get out of the church parking lot without flipping anybody off on Sunday. I mean, I'm just telling you. But that nobody had to teach us when we were kids. What's the first word when we were growing up as a toddler? First word is what? Mine? So I want to unpack significance today. I want to explain a little bit about what I call the perfect storm of 2023. In fact, just getting over about 10 days ago, man, some of you guys saw me. I'm going to sit down if you don't care. I got deathly sick, lost my voice, and I had speaking engagements. I can't call in sick. I just have to show up. But 2023 has been and I'll get through this, so, been the single toughest year of my life. Excuse me. I buried my mama. Dad had a stroke, had to put him in a home. And I do believe I've got the best team in the world, and my people love me, and they wanted to give me my space. And I made a couple bad hires. Anybody made a bad hire? And it's funny when you're interviewing people, leaders, everybody's Miss America, right? Everybody, I just want world peace. And maps. People need maps. Some of you guys will remember that from YouTube. Just everybody's great. But what I found out in my company, see, one thing what you get with me, you're not going to get Sunday school words. I'm going to be transparent. As my daddy, the old country preacher, said, Tim, you got to throw the feed where the chickens can get it. It's not fake, Tim. We go through trials and struggles in life, and that's the only way we learn is we get better, right? So my team was trying to protect me, but I hired a few people that were telling me one thing, but were talking down to my team and demeaning my team and beating up my team. And I had a coup on my hands to where I didn't even know, and someone had to reach out and say, oh my God, do you have any idea? But I was going back and forth to Kentucky because my mom and dad were sick, and I didn't know. And I'm like, I had to come in, and I said, oh my God. And then on top of that, my partner who I built CarNow with had some personal issues with reminding his privacy, had to step down. Oh my gosh. Storms come. Storms come. How are you going to have, as my buddy Glenn Lundy just said, when they huff and they puff and things happen in life, only a firm foundation stands. So what are you doing on a daily basis? When he talks about gratitude, I believe in it. I take it a step further. Every single day I get on my face and I'm like, thank God that I can see, that I can walk, that I can talk, that I can breathe. Looking at my dad in the wheelchair, thank God I can go to the bathroom on my own. When we wake up with that gratitude every single day, everything changes, because what changes, you look through a different lens. That's my challenge. You want to transform your dealership? Start with you. You start loving people there, and you start loving people right where they're at and changing significance. I dare you. Look at Beaver Toyota. I love your daddy. I love your daddy. That's what he does. I heard something from the great John Maxwell, which I have read everything that he's had. I've stole this from him. People say, well, we're just selling cars. Maxwell says, he's been to all the Fortune 100 companies. He said there's one thing about great leadership, is that they've got leaders that say, hey, I want to make a difference, with people that want to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference. What difference are you making today? Because we live in this world where it's all about me, take care of me, feed me, I look at my fancy. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. In fact, that's what I was talking to Hugh last night, because I was struggling because my wife and I are starting to pour into some of the impoverished areas of Atlanta, and I felt bad because we were pulling up in a nice fancy car, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm pulling up in this car and I'm not wearing watch to feed homeless, and I was feeling bad about that. But man, we shouldn't feel bad about that. We should be a testimony to what we can do when things happen around us, and we give the credit where the credit's due. I want to make a difference with people that want to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference. We're just selling cars. Every stinking dealership in this country, for the most part, is the bedrock of their community. They sponsor the Little League teams. They fund this charity and that charity. Don't tell me you're not making a difference. And oh, by the way, the Jessies and Joes and the Jills in your dealership, we got to start thinking that way. The biggest detriment to any company, any dealership, is when we start thinking we are the smartest person in the room. There are people walking into dealerships and companies across the country that they go into a sales meeting, they go into a conference room, and no matter what is said in that conference room, they're walking in and no one's going to change their mind because they're the smartest person in the room. That's why I say all the time, no one's smarter than everyone. Man, I want to stay that way. Let's get better together. I mean, do we really want to go forward? Or are we just going through the motions? I think there's a lot of going through the motions. There's a lot of social media people, unfortunately, today. Write this down. Write this down. I heard this several years ago. Your direction as a leader, your direction as a mommy, your direction as a daddy, your direction determines your destination. I can think about it all I want. I can put sunscreen in the car. I can put my little short shorts in the car. But if I get on 75 going north, I'm not getting to Florida. Your relationships are moving. Right now, I don't know any of your financial situation, but I promise you one thing. You have your financial situation, the money you have, your net worth, is direct reflection of decisions that you've made months and not years ago. Your relationship with your wife, your significant other, the people at work, is a direct, it's moving. Relationships are always moving to the good, to the bad. I'm on track, I'm not. Here's the great thing in life. We all have air in our lungs. What happens when you make a wrong turn and you put it in ways? Redirecting, right? But I want you to remember that's the greatest part of life, is your direction determines your destination, and you can always redirect. I want you to think about that. Where do you need to redirect today? Maybe you've been going in the wrong direction. Maybe you can be better at home. Because, again, it's amazing. We didn't share notes with the other couple speakers, but it's amazing. Everybody's saying the same thing. We're talking about people. When you pour into your people, amazing things happen. Oh, I'm going to give you, how much time do I get left? I don't care. Anyway. Exercise of demons. You're going to get it whether you like it or not. Anyway. My dad said when you throw a rock into a pack full of dogs, the one that goes woof is the one you hit. So hopefully we're going to hit everybody today. All right. You caught that, didn't you? I'm going to give you, because I'm just a simple country boy from Kentucky like Glenn. I'm going to give you 3 things in 3 words that truly changed my life. And I promise you, no Sunday school words. No posting on social media. But I'm just talking to you, and you, and you. Let's do a little soul search. And if you put these 3 things into practice every single day, and these 3 words at the end that I'm going to share with you, I promise you, we meet here next year, we're going to hear a story. Because I've been saying this, I've done this format of this talk several times. And I've even had people come back with tears in their face, talking about, oh my gosh, and story after story after story. Anybody a fan of Friday Night Lights? Anyone? In fact, is there a play button on that? I think it's like a minute video. We don't necessarily have to play it, but we can take a break from hearing me and playing that, because that's exactly where I got these 3 things, but we're going to break them down individually, take a couple notes, then we're going to get out of here. And if not, no big deal. It played on my end. Just keep going. That's okay. We don't have to worry about it. Friday Night Lights, they say what? Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, right? Clear eyes. What does it mean to have clear eyes? Review your game film. What's every NFL team doing today or yesterday? I don't even know what day it is. It's Tuesday. Yeah. What are they doing? They're watching film, right? Clear eyes, to have clear eyes in your life. If you truly, no Sunday school words, if you truly want to get better, how did I do yesterday? How did I interact? how could I have motivated my team differently? There's been times in my life with my team that we've had new hires, and there was 2 or 3 times where I've had to handle a situation the wrong way. Guess what? My butt said, you know what? I handled that the right way. Wrong way. I got on the phone and I corrected that. Hey, listen, I should have handled this differently. Clear eyes. Is there a time at the end of the day or the next day in your gratitude time, as Glenn Lundy talks about, that you're truly reviewing the game film? Clear eyes. Full hearts. This one's tough because people are mean. I mean, I'm just telling you. I can remember, and I won't tell you, but I can remember just an example of this, especially the state of our country. You know, we're divisive. People will decide ahead of time whether they like you or not, depending on which way you vote, what you look like, what you smell like, maybe where you go to church. They already make these decisions about you before you even have conversations with those people, before they even get to know you. So for me, what does it mean to have clear eyes, review the game film, full hearts? Is loving people right where they're at. I can remember, and I want to encourage you, again, made this talk a year or 2 ago, and the stories are just phenomenal. And this isn't, anybody that knows me here, this isn't a me story, but I'm just going to give you an example of what this looks like. I can remember, and if anybody knows me, knows that I'm about 9,000 miles an hour, and I've got a zillion things to do and 400 text messages every day like everybody else. And I'm standing in line at Publix, and this is during the election, the last one. And I'm doing this. Anybody, you've got 2 things, and you've got people in front, I'm looking at other lines, right? Seriously, anybody been there? Amen? Anybody been? Come on, are you freaking kidding me? How much is the cut? Come on! And there's somebody in front of me, and you know what? I knew that politically they were wearing a T-shirt that I didn't agree with. And they were that person. Really slow. So my brain is like, I'm about ready to explode. And something came over to me, and I'm like, and literally, you can say whatever it was. It was like, just love them where they're at. And I could tell, I didn't know. Maybe this person was a gazillionaire. I found out later that she wasn't. But someone just told me, pay for her groceries. Just pay for her groceries. I paid for her groceries. It was like I gave this lady $1 million. She started weeping at Publix. The cashier started weeping. She goes outside, thanks you, gives me a hug. She says, you have no idea. She goes out. She was parked in a handicap spot. She tells her husband, they wave. What would happen if we all did those types of random acts of kindness? I know dealerships in this room. I'm picking on Beaver because they're in Atlanta. They do that stuff all the time. You talk about making a difference. That's what it means to have a full heart. Even if they don't think, even if they don't go to the same church, that's what it means to love people where they're at. Number 3, can't lose. You wake up every day grateful. You wake up every day or the night before you review your game film. You wake up every day and you have a full heart. Do you screw up? Yes. That's what game film's for. But you make it better, and we get better and better, and you're better today than you were yesterday, and you're better today than you were the day before, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. And clear eyes, full hearts. Listen, you can't lose. You might not be Richard Branson with billions and billions of dollars, but in here, you can't put a price tag on that. Because at the end of the day, that's what life's about. It's the people that you influence. 3 words. Those are 3 things, 3 words that changed my life. And these aren't mine. I wish they were. I had the privilege to sell a car to a guy by the name of Dick Peterson. Dick Peterson was John Maxwell's partner 35 years ago when John Maxwell was still a pastor in San Diego. And if you know anything about Maxwell, they started this Enjoy ministry, which was cassette tapes. And he had a big church in San Diego, which is how John Maxwell got started. He had tapes, and he'd ship tapes all over to pastors all over the country. And Dick Peterson, and I am not comparing myself. God knows my heart. I'm not comparing myself to Maxwell, but Peterson said, look, John is all over, you're all over the place too. He's like, John's all over the place too. Like I had to tell him where to go. So I went to a John Maxwell conference 20 years ago in Atlanta called it was a leadership conference called The Catalyst. And he spoke 3 words that changed everything for me. Because these 3 words are universal and you can put them anywhere. And that is, listen, he said, I can't control yesterday. Can't. It's gone. I'm not even promised tomorrow. But I've got today. Just for today. Fill in the blank. Mine changes. I've got that written everywhere. I've got it in my car. I've got it in my house. I've got it in my office. Just for today, please allow me to treat people as though they're more important than me. Just for today, allow me to be the leader that I would want to follow. You see, we grew up in this car business that I got papers thrown at me and things thrown at me and go back and get this. And I'm not saying be soft. I'm just saying be the type of leader that you want your kids. Be the type of boss that you want your kids to work for. What would happen if we all, just for a moment, searched here, all the stuff aside, and truly reviewed our game film? Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. God bless you guys. I'm Tim Cox.